Hey, this is John. Welcome back to Modern Old School Developer. In this video, we're going to work on some of the front-end look and feel of our Movie Manager application. So right now it's very basic, just a giant white empty space with some text on there. Let's see if we can make it look a little bit more like the demo application I showed off in the intro video. So let's go ahead and go into VS Code. I'm going to open the front-end folder inside the source. I'm going to open up index.css. So by default, Tailwind strips off all of the browser styles. No margins, no padding, no button styles, no link styles, nothing. So if you want some stuff, you'll need to add stuff. Fortunately, Tailwind has just infinite customization options. It's really amazing. So let's start by adding a background color to the body. So one of the ways we can do that is in this index.css file, we can go in here and say @layer. This is choosing which layer we want to affect, in this case, the base layer. Now the base layer includes things like the body and HTML tags if you want to add CSS styling there. And I do want to add the body tag. I want to change the background color for the whole page. So we'll go into the body and we'll make a background color. Now we could just say background color gray. Now this does work. In fact, if I go over here, you can see our app has changed to gray. But I want to use the Tailwind classes. So what we can do to do that is say @apply. So if we want to apply a class, we can say @apply BG Slate 300. And now we're going to have that same slate color we had in the demo application. Here it is. Here's the demo. Same background color. Now, let's work on making the responsive container in the middle to hold all of our content. So back into VS Code, let's go into a components folder. And let's make a file in here called container.tsx. And I will use this snippet extension to make a React arrow function component, and we will export that by default. The name is the same as the file name, which is fine for our purposes, but it does have both highlighted in case you wanted to change that. But I don't. Container is fine. So on our container, I want to add some classes. We're going to have a div here. In fact, it's going to be the main div. So let's just go ahead and, what did I do there? I don't know that. Okay. So change that to the main. And now we're going to add some classes. So in React, we need to use class name. And I'm going to say, I want this to be a container. This is the Tailwind class for making a responsive container based on screen width. All right, I want the background to be white. I want it to be centered, so we need to do MX auto. This will center us horizontally. Now I want to add some padding on the vertical axis. So we'll add a margin Y of 4, which is 1 rem. And we'll add some padding as well. So we'll give it the same padding, padding 4. All right, now our container won't be very useful if there's nothing in it. So we need to add all of the children components inside here. To do that, we're just going to add children. And now we need to add it up here as a prop. But because this is Typescript, we have to type all of our functions. So let's make a props interface. Interface props. Children is a React, not child, React node. Okay, so there we go. There is our container class. Let's go into app.tsx and let's get rid of all of this and let's just wrap this in our new container class. So container, and let's just add our h2 hello Tailwind container. And let's go see how that looks. Yeah, there we go. We've got our container in the middle. And you can see that it is responsive up to a point. You know, it gets bigger and it gets smaller. So there we go. There's our container. Now we need to add the sections. We've got a few sections over here, one for the movies, one for the metadata, one for the actors, and one for the categories. But if you look closely, you'll notice they're all styled very similarly. We have a thicker black border around every section. We have a header, which has a title. It's in a red border section. Then there's a blue bordered section with whatever the actual content of this section is. A select here, the available and selected lists here, categories over here, and clip metadata over here. So why don't we make one of the sections that has this kind of styling? So let's go back to VS Code, and in our components, let's make a new file called, I don't know, movie section.tsx underscore RAFCE, and the name is fine. So over here, we'll change this from div to section. All right, and now we need to add some classes to our section. So let's start off with that black border. So we're going to add some class names. First of all, we'll do border 2, which means 2 pixels. We'll do a border of black. And for this section, let's add some padding. All right, so there will be our section, which has the black border in there. Now, inside there, we need the header and the content part. So we're going to have 2 divs, one on top the other. And in here, this is where we're going to add that red section header, so the border thing here. So in here, we're going to say we have a border, which is just 1 pixel, and the border is red 500. And we'll add some padding inside this div as well. All right, and then we'll add the section header. So we're going to have this be an H2 tag, and it's going to have the title. And then down here we have our other section. So it has a class name of border green, I'm sorry, it's blue, border blue 500. And we'll give it some padding as well. And then we have the content. So there we go. That is our section header. And now we need to arrange those in the way it's laid out right now, which is kind of a grid of 4 things. So let's go and make our main kind of page. So over here in the pages folder, I'm going to make main page.tsx, and we'll do RAFCE again. So here we're going to have, I think, 2 divs. And we'll need to wrap those in one of these fragments because we can only return one thing from a React component. So let's see here. We've got these 2 divs. Those are our horizontal layout thing. These are our vertical layout things. So within there, we need to lay things out horizontally. So let's start doing that. So to lay things out horizontally, we're going to add a class name to this div, and that's going to be flex. And now we're going to add the first thing that's going to be in here, and that's going to be a class name as well. We're going to give it some margin, and we're going to give it a width of 3/5 of the screen. And then we'll have another div, same margin on the y-axis, and the width is going to be 2/5 this time. All right, so right here we've got our movie list. So let's make a component for the movie list. Movie list.tsx, and let's make that a component. And then we're going to have a movie section component in here. And I'm going to leave that for the time being. I don't know what I need to put in there just yet. So let's see what that looks like right there. And then we will add this movie list component. And in the rest of these, we're just going to make dummy stuff. So this is the movie editor. Down here, we need the class name to be flex again so we can make containers inside that. So this is going to be the actors, and then this was going to be the categories. All right, let's see what that looks like. So go back to our, we did not add the main page to the app yet. Let's change that. Okay, let's do that. There we go. So I see title, content. I've got the black bar. I don't see any gap between the title and the content. That's a problem. We do want a gap between those two things. Let's see what we can do to fix that. So let's go back to the page over here. Should be inside the movie section. Looks like we need some kind of margin between these things. We don't want the margin to be around, we want the margin to be between these things. So let's add a margin Y of 2, and maybe the same thing down here, and see how that looks. Okay, that looks better. So now we've got some margin on here, and the padding inside the main container takes care of the rest of this. That looks pretty good, although the title needs to be centered and needs to be bigger. So let's go fix that. So if I go over here to the title, this should be centered. So class name equals text center, and the text size should be 2XL. All right, there we go. Man, looks a little, doesn't look quite right, does it? I think it should be bolder. Maybe we need some font weight on there too. Let's see if we can do text, font. I think font bold should do that. That's not quite the same, but I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with this. Let's leave it, and I might change it later, but for now, we'll let it be. Okay, the content's going to be different for everything, and we need to have the title be something specific to the section. So let's go and fix that. So first of all, instead of having a title, we actually need, there to be a title. So let's make a title prop, and we need to make a title up here, and we need to make an interface because this is Typescript. So interface props title is going to be a string. It is not optional. And in this content, we need to have our children, and we can have children over here. And children is going to be a react.react node. And there may not be any children right now, so let's make it optional. No, we're always going to have children. Let's not do that now. So let's go fix this. So movie list does not have any children, does not have any titles. So the section title for this is going to be movie list, and we'll have one child, which is the content. So let's go see how that looks. Actually, let's make that say movie list content, because I was already saying content before. Yeah, that's basically what I was going for. So all we have to do is make something like this for all the other 4 sections. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So over here, we will make 4 more sections. So we're going to have, let's see here. We need a movie form container, and that's going to be an RAFCE again. We're going to need to have an actor selector. Maybe I'll call them sections. Yeah, actors section. Okay, so this will be the metadata section. Let's rename that. Then over here, RAFCE again for the actors section. And then we need to have one more thing, which is our categories section. All right, there we go. Okay, so we've got all of those now. So back on the main page, let's go fix this. So we're going to want the same class names here. Although actually, I don't think we want it to be the width of 3/5 and 2/5 over here. I think we're actually going to make these be even. So let's say width 1/2 and width 1/2. And we're going to have, instead of this, we're going to have, what are we going to have? The metadata section. Okay, I renamed those. So it's now metadata editor, actor selector, and category selector. I don't know. It's probably silly, but it's what I wanted. So here we are in the actor selector. And then finally the category selector. All right. So there are all of those. And if we go in here, I need to look at the movie list, because we're going to have basically one of these in each one of those. So over here, we're going to have this, which is the metadata editor. And we're going to have metadata form. And we need to import this. So we'll make sure we import movie section from movie section. All right. Oopsie. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here we go. So on actor selector. All right. Let's import that. Actors. Actor selector. And finally, category selector. All right, let's import this. Get rid of these. Categories. Category selector. Okay, let's see how that looks. Hey, not bad. There needs to be some horizontal gap between these two, but other than that, not bad. So let's go make that happen. Where would that be? Main page? I'm thinking main page. Okay, so we're going to need some margin over here. I'm thinking maybe just margin 2, like a margin all the way around, instead of margin Y. Oopsie. Let's see if that works. You know what? That works just fine. So you can see we've got an even breakdown between the actors and the categories, but this one is a 3/5, 2/5 split. And they are responsive, except they're getting too small down here. So we do need to fix that. So let's go work with Tailwind's responsive design system. So to do that, we're going to go back into here. And right now you can see that we have this as flex. But that's not what we actually want. We only want to be flex when it's at a certain size. So what does that mean? Let's go to the container real quick. And if I highlight over this, you can see it tells us that our containers are 640 pixels. That's the small one. 768 is the medium one. 1024 is the large one. 1280 is extra large, and this is double extra large, or 2XL. So we're going to start making a 2-column layout when we hit the medium breakpoint. That's what I want to see. So in the main page, rather than say, I want this to be a flex layout, what I really want is to be a flex layout on medium screens and bigger. Now again, I don't want a width of 3/5 if we're not on a medium screen. So all of these things should be only when we're medium. Now that's only the widths. I still want margins all the time, and this flex should be medium. And if we go and save that, what happens then? We get smaller until we hit the smaller than medium breakpoint, and we now stack our containers. Okay, there we go. Makes me wonder if I want it to be a large breakpoint, but we'll see about that later. Well, I might want that to be the large breakpoint. This seems very small here to be two forms. Let's see what that looks like. Let's change all the mediums to large and see what happens. Well, I may change my mind when we actually have actual content in there, but for the moment, I'm liking it like this. So we'll put this on the large breakpoint, and below that, we'll go to one column. But there we go. That is the beginning of our design. I hope you learned something about Tailwind classes and Tailwind styling. In the next episode, we will maybe add some movie list stuff and maybe get some functionality. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and come see us next time. I've been John for Modern Old School Developer.